We're almost 2 days out until Election Day, and Ted Cruz made another campaign stop in the Coastal Bend to share a message to his supporters. It is our top story. Cruz discussed 3 different issues: creating more jobs, cutting taxes, and securing the border with military and a wall. Many local Republican leaders attended tonight's event.
Seeing Ted Cruz taking the time to come down to an area of South Texas that many argue is a Democratic stronghold is a good note, I believe, for Cruz, and showing that he's able to come down here and talk to the opposition and try and spread his values throughout Texas as a whole and not just certain areas.
His opponent, Beto ORourke, was campaigning in Dallas tonight. The two will go head-to-head on Election Day, Tuesday, November 6.